I can swim. Just can't walk or dress myself. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Salute, and welcome back to the Black Ocean. Now, swinging deep in with your host, the one and only Great Black Shark. All family, we got to cover this filthy fire crotch alabastress over here tonight. Oh yes, by the name of Christina Formella. Okay, so now, as many of you know, there has just been an epidemic situation of a bunch of pedophile teachers taking advantage of and molesting these students, and the greater majority of them come from the Alabaster community. Okay, and look, we often know that the white supremacist male is the biggest perpetrator of sexual violence in this country, according to the FBI crime statistics. But when we talk about the white supremacist male, we cannot forget about the white supremacist female. That's just as, if not more, degenerate than the white supremacist male. Okay. Now, we're going to be covering this case here tonight, and we're going to be pointing out some things that a lot of people just really don't want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to go into withering detail over here about tonight, because I'm going to tell you what the problem is with this situation where we see these teachers constantly getting into these, these sexually exploitative relationships with these students, okay, that are minors that can't consent to sex. I'm just going to be blunt about it. One, the problem started when they started hiring all these younger teachers that's in their early and mid 20s amidst this thought culture that's nationwide. And I'm not thought culture, they little try to just blame it on black people. No. That's all demographics in this country, okay? Because of what's promoted, where everything is just sexual, 24/7, sexual, promoted to any and everybody. Even when it comes to the kaleidoscope community, they got the transformers trying to come in there to read the kids and all of that, okay? But sticking with what we talking about here tonight, the issue is you hire all these young, early 20-something white teachers or mid 20-something, and we've seen the older ones do it too, but I'm going to tell you what the trend is, okay? Besides that young, hiring those younger teachers instead of some of the more older, experienced teachers that ain't going to do that, you got a lot of them today, and this is going to sound sick, but we got to tell the truth about it. And salute to the good brother, Black Truth United. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear, good brother, and anybody else that's in here today. There's a funny thing that be going on with on PubeTube here. You have to constantly keep refreshing the chat to see what your actual numbers are. I guarantee you that we're the only channels that they play with like that. But nonetheless, we're going to do our job. Here's the problem that I noticed, though. You have a lot of these alabaster teachers that are in marriages that they're not happy in, and I just got to say it like it is. Either their husbands are not able to perform and get it up, or even if the husband is, this is something that a lot of people don't want to talk about when it comes to women that are sexual predators. A lot of these women, even if their husband is able to sexually perform, they want to know what it's like to be with younger boys, okay, that can last a lot longer than their husbands. Everybody like, oh my God, how can you say that? I'm like, no, we got to tell the truth about this. See, one of the problems in American society, and I'm speaking about American society because this is what we know over here. One of the problems in American society is when it comes to all forms of crime, everybody tend to look at women as if they wouldn't perpetrate these crimes. And if you really take a realistic look at a lot of crimes across the board in all demographics here, it's on the rise with them because, one, nobody suspects them of doing something, so they got a better chance of getting away with it. And number two, if they get caught and prosecuted, this needs to stop. If we talking about we're going to have equality, give them the same sentences that you would give a man that's convicted of these crimes. See, there's a lot that needs to change in this country from top to bottom as far as how the government is run, at least the judicial branch of the government, the entire thing, the executive, legislative, and judicial, all of it needs to change, but definitely with the judicial branch, okay? That's something has to be done about that. If not, they're going to keep preying on these kids. Now, let's just go ahead and deal with the main thing, okay? And salute to the good brother Michael Williams. I see you, brother. Let's go ahead and deal with the main thing. And, this is where the divide comes in when men and women often discuss these issues. Fellas, we all know you have some brothers be like, man, where were the teachers like that when I was in school? Okay, well, here's the problem when the men say that, all right? Some of y'all might not like this, but I got to go here. And everybody lost their virginity, men and women in here at different ages. Okay, so we're all aware of that. We're going to have an adult conversation over here tonight and address this problem. But when it comes to the men, you know, that are of age, some of man, I wish I had teachers like that out of school. Well, let's consider some of the serious ramifications, because a lot of people that talk like that online, they don't think past just, oh man, how cool it would be to be sleeping with an older teacher or whatever. What happens if this old bitch has has HIV positive, has some type of other sexually transmitted disease you can't get rid of? Okay. I mean, there's plenty of them out there. All right. That's another thing too I see today with a lot of younger people. You'd be surprised. It's startling how many of them don't understand how sexually transmitted diseases work. You have a lot of myths out here too on both ends of the equation. You still got people running around here telling folks, especially female, telling you can't get pregnant on your first time and all this other stupid shit. And it's not based in scientific fact anywhere. This is where I thank my parents, because I was the type of kid that if I had a question, they would give me a part of the answer and be like, look the rest of it up. We kept encyclopedias, dictionaries in our house. I got bored. I used to read dictionaries, encyclopedias, okay? Or request to go to the library. Yes, for you younger people listening, you find this broadcast, yes, we used to have to go to these things called libraries and actually read books, okay? Everything wasn't always online back then. But see, I was taught to seek accurate information. So when I was coming up, people kind of considered me a smart ass, because if I heard something that wasn't accurate, I would correct it. No matter who was saying. I'm like, no, that's not right. That's not how that works. You know what I'm saying? And see, if you follow me on any of my platforms over here for years, you know I'm big on that, just down to the point of y'all spelling stuff in the comments. A lot of y'all know that if I see you spelling shit and then just leave it there like it ain't no big deal, I'm gonna get on your ass about it. I mean, ignorance is something that could become fatal if you don't seek to correct that, even in small things, okay? And see, accuracy matters when it comes to, you know, things that actually affect your life. So now let's go further. Let's just say you looked out as a young kid and you were sleeping with an older teacher, and, you know, it progressed on to the point that you got this teacher pregnant. Okay, now your whole life is when you turn upside down. Don't you know there's cases where these old damn pedophiles have done this shit and then turn around and put them young boys on child support and shit like that? Just despicable, man. Despicable. Okay. So now we definitely shouldn't have to go in the other direction, but we're going to go there. Let's flip the script. Let's just say, because it really never gets that far if it's the other way around. And not that I want to see it happen anyway, because it's wrong to be messing with minors. I don't care what situation it is, which gender does it. But if you flip it where there's a man messing with an underage girl, oh, that gets shut down quick. Okay, there's none of these excuses that you see being made. Oh, she was going through postpartum depression. Oh, this, oh, that. It's always some type of excuse when it comes to these pedophile teachers in the dominant society, particularly. So we're going to be examining this case over here from the A road to the zero. We're going to get down to the bottom of this. And this is going to be one of the ones where when they start running their mouths and start talking about black on black crime, this, that, the third, be like, ho. In addition to your school shooters, you got to stop your teachers from trying to fuck the damn kids. They're supposed to teach the kids, not fuck the kids. Huh? I guess they took that phrase, fuck the kids, and they flipped it to mean the literal damn definition, huh? I know, man, but this is what we're dealing with. So we're going to get started tonight, family. We're going to be stopping this where need be. Many of you may not have heard of this case, but you're going to hear about it tonight. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Cops pull over the 30-year-old driver of a gray Volkswagen, and she's in big trouble.
Step out of the car. I know you're confused. I'll explain everything to you.
30-year-old Christina Formella is with her husband, and neither has a clue what the heck's going on.
I don't understand what's going on here. Yeah, you can go grab your things.
Can he come with me?
Yes.
Moments later, cops slap cuffs on her. But why? They're not saying much.
Once you get to the police department, you'll talk to the detective and he'll explain everything to you.
In the back of the squad car, Christina smacks her lips as she tries to process the sudden turn of events in her life. Finally, the cops fill her in.
Now, at this point, you notice the classic tactic. She knows what she's being arrested for, but see, you can say all women do this, but we talking about their women because they're the masters of it, because it really only works in their favor. The minute that they know that they're about to be held accountable for something, here they come with the fake crime. Listen, let me tell you something. This is passive-aggressive, degenerate behavior that you witnessing here. We all know how their tears have cost our people their lives and even entire communities over the years, okay? So she's finna put the waterworks on to try to draw sympathy. And see, and this works with their people, because you notice they're not handling her in any type of rough way. Definitely not like a black person or what have you. But see, I'm going to say something controversial. Family, you know what? If it was me, they better be glad I'm not running this nation. Because pedophilia, I don't care which gender got caught doing it or which race. If I would have the law set up this way, if we catch you doing that and law enforcement got all the evidence we need, have it turned over to a judge, make it publicly known, we would shoot you on sight. We're not finna waste taxpayer dollars and put you in no prison and have you, because like, that's the one of the crimes you cannot rehabilitate. You cannot rehabilitate a pedophile. You cannot rehabilitate a rapist. I don't care which gender it is. I would just get you up out of here. Let me tell you something. If I was running this place, we would have some of the lowest pedophile numbers ever, because before we execute you, we're going to make sure we got you dead to rights. We get your DNA, we got your witnesses and video or whatever. Oh, yeah, you out of here, buddy. The only way we wouldn't go ahead and send you to the upper room or the lower room, whichever place you're going, okay, is if we were uncertain, all right? But if it was up to me, that should be something they should shoot people 60 times for if you really want to go there. Yeah, you ever notice that? The criminals that actually commit the worst and most egregious crimes, you notice they don't shoot them 60 times? A bit of a brief aside here, think about it. When they go to confront the mass shooters, unless they just start drilling down at the cops like that, you notice they don't shoot them 60 times? Dylan Rue, Peyton Gendron, all the rest of them, they don't shoot them 60 times. They usually have to kill themselves. Yeah, but I'm going there. So I want y'all to study this whole exchange here. And I want you to pay attention to the husband when he gets brought into the picture, man. Because see, for all you bed bugs out here, let me go ahead and go here with you. I keep telling y'all keep trying to, for the ones that are stupid enough to do it, and they're free to do what they want. But we're going to debunk that myth about, the white women are so much better. Let me tell you something, dude. There's no such thing as a demographic of women on this planet that are perfect or don't have no issues or problems. But I'm going to stand on this. I want a few people that'll see it plain like this on Patreon and in public. When you hop over there and get you a fucking Becky, you have no idea what level of degeneracy you have just subjected yourself to, and the danger of being a black man. Because as a white woman, she has more power in this system of white supremacy than you do. No matter what kind of a financial status you got or whatever. You better start listening to the problems that they have with their men, particularly this. See, this is one of the problems that the white men have with his women. Of course, they're battling for control of the system of white supremacy, but one of the problems that, Zaddy got is like, hey, Becky, just rebelling all kind of ways. One, she don't, she mad because, they won't let her kill them kids. They know they need to get numbers up. And then she's like, okay, if you ain't gonna let me do what I want to do, shit, I'll just go to school and fuck the kids. I mean, I'm gonna be blunt. This is what they're doing. So you bedbugs, you think that you're gonna have any more control or authority over a Becky than her own man? Because see, they look at you as a toy. That's what the bedbugs don't like to hear. Same thing for the bedwenches, but we talking about this tonight. They look at you as a toy, and when you get over there, they're like, basically, this is what I tell bedbugs. They hate me for this. They basically look at you as a fucking puppy. Yeah, a cute little old puppy until they get tired of you and the novelty is worn off, and then this is when they start setting you up. And look, here's the thing that the bedwenches and bedbugs really don't like. Y'all want to really get under their skin when they start fucking with y'all. If you ever decide to address them, just go ahead and put this seed in the back of their mind, because it's true for all of them. For most, the greater majority of those interracial relationships in either gender, as soon as that thrill wears off, they start cheating on their black partner, the man or the woman, with somebody from their community. It always happens. It never fails. You have a lot of the bedwenches running around touting this stat, leaving out information. And one day I might have to tackle that, where they keep talking about, well, if you have an interracial marriage between a black man and a black woman, that one lasts the longest. They leave out also that that's the one, too, where the black woman has the higher percentage of being killed by that white spouse of hers. See, my thing is, if you're going to tell some information, tell all of it. Don't tell bits and pieces of it. Don't worry, though. We might tackle that over here, at a later date coming up. But we're going to get back to this, and I want y'all to pay attention to how that husband is going to react when he comes into the frame here. Get back to it.
So what's the charge? The 30-year-old teacher allegedly carried on an affair with a 15-year-old student. The teen's mom says she discovered these lurid text messages on his cell phone. I love you so, so much, Mama. I love you so much, baby. Even though this morning was short, it was perfect. Christina Formella got married last year in Italy, months after the alleged tryst with the student had begun. The teacher is now on paid leave from Downers Grove South High School outside Chicago.
Now, I want to pause this real quick. I want to take it back to something. I want to show you something here because I want to be thorough with this. Take a good look at this mugshot, okay? Because, you know, one of the things I try to do with my platform is teach y'all, make sure I point out certain things so you know exactly what you're looking at when it comes to these types of degenerates, okay? This mugshot that you see right here, y'all know the cliche saying, the eyes are the windows to the soul. Look at her. Don't look at the face. Look straight into her eyes. That's the look of a motherfucker that's pissed off because they know they finally got caught. That's not remorse. That's not, you know, hey, they got the wrong person. No, this is anger. I'm angry that you caught me, and I'm having to actually be held accountable for my actions, okay? I just want you to know what you're looking at, okay? So don't ever forget that. Always pay attention to these mugshots. Look at their faces and everything. You can learn a lot by looking at, you know, the eyes of a person, especially when they got these mugshots and everything. Because, see, I'm treating them just like they treat us. I treat them like lab rats. I study everything about them, what they do, what they say, the tattoos they have, how they dress, their mannerisms, etc., okay? We're going to let it continue. And like I said, get ready to pay attention to this husband that's coming up soon here. Get back to it.
From Downers Grove South High School outside Chicago.
We are heartbroken for the victim and also for the hundreds of students, staff, and family who trusted this teacher and feel betrayed by this terrible situation.
She says she's done nothing wrong and is being framed and blackmailed by the student. Cops say she told them everybody comes after her because she's good looking.
Did you hear that excuse she made? Everybody comes after me because I'm good looking. First of all, bitch, and I'm not a white man, so I know I'm biased, but you're not that attractive. Hold on, let's take this back. She's talking about how good looking she is, because boy, we live in the age of just delusion today. Hold on, let me take this on back here. I want y'all to see this, because she says that everybody comes after her because she's so good looking. Family, take a look at this heifer. Now, again, full disclosure, y'all know that I am not the greatest fan of white women. If they were the last women on earth, boy, I would think I was in pure hell. I mean, y'all think I'm exaggerating about that. They're worthless to me. I don't find them attractive at all. I get why some people say some of them are attractive, but as far as me wanting to choose one, hell no. Nah, no, not me. There's too many problems, too many risks that come with that. And like I said, they just don't have the same flavor as our women, all right? Take a good look at this picture. Everybody comes after her because she's good looking. Okay, now see, this is one of the problems that women in general have, but we talking about this alabasters over here tonight. They have this sick thing going on today where they declare themselves something, and because they say it, that's their reality. But here's the problem with men or women. You can say you look good and you should have a high self-esteem about yourself. Nobody's faulting you for that. But it's other people that determine whether you're actually attractive or not, as far as how they see you. You see what I'm saying? I hope everybody's catching that. Just look around today. You see that with all demographics of women. They'll declare something, and just because they said it, they think that that's true. For example, this is one where I really make a lot of feminists mad, okay? Because we're going to get back to this tonight, but I got to make this point. A lot of them, when Lizzo was like, you know, Buffalo buffet master size, supreme buffet master size, everybody, oh, she's pretty, she's beautiful. Okay, so here's something, boy, you gonna sell my asshole for this one, y'all. When they were saying that, you know what I used to tell the helpers that would sit there and tell that lie? I used to get them two ways. I said, okay, so if I was to say, well, hey, you look just like Lizzo, would you take that as a compliment? Oh, they get quiet then. And here's the other one that I used to hit them with when they start that bullshit. I said, okay, if Lizzo's actually pretty and you really saying that that's what you believe, if a bunch of Lizzo-sized bitches was to come to any function that you were at and all the men start paying them attention, you wouldn't feel no type of way about that? Oh, boy, them bitches shut the fuck up with that nonsense then. See, I'm the type of brother, if you around me and you a woman, I'm not going to bullshit you just to spare your feelings and inflate your ego. I'm going to tell your ass the truth. If you don't like that, you can get the fuck out from around me. Because that's dangerous. That's part of the problem today. You have too many of these fucking simps out here lying to these damn women, especially over there in the white community. So my point is, when you look at this heifer right here, look at this woman. She's washed up, bleached, blonde motherfucker with a bunch of damn cake up on. You know what I'm saying? And then notice she got that goddamn wine glass in her hand. See, when you see the husband coming up, you're gonna be like, yeah, bro, you was shooting out your lead. How did you even fall for this? Cause see, look, I guess if you have your father in your life, you're able to tell when a woman don't really fuck with you like that. And once you pick up on that, it ain't nothing you can do to work that out. You don't try to negotiate. You leave if you respect yourself, because she's wasting your time and you wasting your time. It's a waste of time. Now, if you like me, I don't believe in wasting time. Look, one of the most simple ways you can tell if a woman really don't fuck with you at all, even if she right up under you, even if you having sex with her, whatever, because that's what throw a lot of these people off. They think because they laying up with somebody that they actually fuck with you for real. Nah. A person that really cares about you, whether it's your significant other or your wife, husband, whatever, all right, they do things just without having to be encouraged. It's not forced. It's a natural thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's a burden to be around you. They're happy to be around you, okay? And a person that really fool with you for real, they're not constantly argumentative about any and everything. See, there's a lot of red flags that a lot of these goofy white boys ignore. And see, these bitches right here that's doing this crap where they going to school fucking these kids, damn pedophiles that they are, the filthy bastards and bastardesses that they are, they playing a dangerous game with Zaddy, because you know when Zaddy, whatever, because like, look, say what you want, Zaddy prides himself on the image of his family life, okay? You know, the whole white picket fence, you know, wife, kids, dog, you know, they love them dogs, got to have one of them to kiss in the mouth. If that comes crumbling down, if any of that comes crumbling down, because I was just reviewing a story where, Zaddy took his own life because of the financial pressures. I'm like, now see, black folks, we'll figure something out. He killed himself and didn't think it through. Like, okay, if you kill yourself as the head of the household, now you leave your fiance and your child to struggle without you. Like, that's not helping anything. But you see, Zaddy, when he gets frustrated, you know, he'll come home, kill the pets, kill the kids, kill her, and then kill himself. So that go to show you how mentally unstable these white women are, because they know their men better than anybody. You know they have a long track record of doing that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you can go take it on back to, I'm talking about the 1200s and on up to now, man. They killed their family and killed themselves. So, you know, like I said, she's full of herself with that delusion that's, you know, that corporate America facilitates, by the way, in this country, where these women are running around delusional. Boy, they just, you got big, huge, buffet supreme master bitches in every demographic of race in this country that's running around thinking they all tens. That's some shit that was hilarious to me. I saw that when that came about, people thought folks was trolling. Nah. What it was, when that change came in for like them being that bold and, you know, the fat fuckers and the ugly motherfuckers stepped out their place, what it was, all of them got together and said, well, if enough of us just do this and everybody lie to each other, then this is going to be the new standard. Unfortunately for them, people in our right frame of mind like, no, you still a fat motherfucker and you are still unattractive. You know what I'm saying? No, ain't nobody going to play fantasy land with you. You can lie to yourself all you want. And see, the other component of that, before we get back to this story, if you're a weak-minded enough man where everybody can gaslight you and shame you, like, oh, why did you tell her the truth? You part of the fucking problem, okay? I don't want dudes like that around me, man. Tell everybody the truth. Just like women tell us the truth, we have to deal with it, and they should have to deal with it too. Let's get back to it. And I want y'all to, again, to remind you, I'm going to pause it when it get to this husband of hers here. Let's get back to it.
Looking.
Okay, so once again, now that's the first half of this where, you know, I introduce you to what they charging her and accusing her with. Okay, so now again, for those that don't know, this is Christina Formella, okay, former teacher, all right, and, you know, they giving her the kid gloves treatment with this situation, was sleeping with a 15-year-old, okay? You know you got to be mentally unbalanced to look at a minor when you in your 30s and you married as a sexual object some type of way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't care if you're a man or woman doing that. That's absolutely disgusting, man. So, you know, when they get to talking about our women and all this, that, the third, yeah, you put this story back in their faces, right? We're going to continue analyzing this, though, because, you know, hey, she says everybody just picks on her because she's pretty. it's almost unfair of me to critique that because I, like I said, they're just not my cup of tea. I'm not into the alabasters like that, but we're going to continue analyzing this. And like I said, we're going to get even more deeper into this, and y'all about to get some more details that they didn't give in that little short introduction there. Let's get into it.
It really seems like nearly every other week, there's another story about a teacher being accused of having sex with a student. And over the last year or so, there are so many that have come up in the news that are women. A lot of them are younger women. This time, I'm telling you about a teacher named Christina Formella. She's a 30-year-old special education teacher and soccer coach from Downers Grove, Illinois. That's less than an hour west of Chicago. And now she's on paid administrative leave after being charged with 2 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse and criminal sexual assault. Records show she's been licensed as a teacher since 2017, when she was 23. Shortly after graduating from college, Downers Grove police started investigating Formella last Saturday morning.
Now, let's go ahead and talk solutions while she's laying this out. You know what the solution to this problem is? They shouldn't have them young teachers in these classrooms by themselves, even if they get, their credentials. They should be paired with a senior teacher, so it should be 2. In other words, it should be like an apprentice, and a senior instructor. So they should never be in these classrooms with these kids by themselves because, see, the reason why I'm saying that, I like to use common sense when it comes to solving problems. If you see something keeps happening over and over again, and you got all the data on it year after year, then you can't keep doing the same thing. So now, family, that's a simple solution. 1, go ahead and pay the teachers more because they are underpaid. I will give them that. So that way because see, like, look, here's where the pay comes in. Not no excusing nothing this degenerate has done because it's wrong. I don't care which gender does it, which race does it. But if you raise the pay in that job, because it's an important job, it should be if we're actually trying to educate instead of indoctrinate, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. You raise the pay, I would say teachers should get no less starting pay $60,000 a year. Starting pay. That's where it should start. At least $60,000. Start there. Okay, so now you give people a decent paying job before they do something stupid and crash out. They gonna think twice. Like, yeah, I might want to do this dumb shit, but hey, this is a good job. Hey, you give somebody an incentive to not crash out like that. Okay, definitely do something degenerate like this. So now then, in addition to raising the pay, all right, to a decent wage where they're not having to be scrambling all over the place, then you put them, like I said, a senior instructor with an apprentice, and they should have to be up under that senior instructor for at least 3, maybe 5 years, you know what I'm saying, before they're allowed to teach their own classroom by themselves, okay? You know what I'm saying? That would slow a lot of that down. But see, what I just said is too much like right. And see, family, here's something that all of y'all need to think about. When you have the data and you see what's going on with these types of crimes year after year after year, you got to ask yourself across this country in every state, what type of government is in place in these local governments here that keep putting these teachers in these situations and they're not giving them real harsh punishments when they get caught doing this stuff? You see what I'm saying? So you got to think about it, man. That really makes you question, what do we have in these local governments? Because, look, we've covered stories over the years, not just myself, but many people. And a lot of these local government positions or whatever, you have a bunch of criminals and pedophiles and drug addicts and shit, okay? So like I said, it's a lot of work to be done in this country if they really want to fix these problems. But one thing's for damn sure, you cannot fix a problem by repeating the same thing over and over again without making changes. Let's let it continue.
And a now 17-year-old boy and his mother filed a report saying Formella had sex with the boy when he was 15 in December of 2023. Now, how did the mom find out? Well, police say her son's cell phone broke, so she ordered him a new one. And when she went to sign into the iCloud account, a bunch of messages from an unnamed account started to pop up. And I'm going to warn you, these are graphic. The woman's son wrote in one, "I love you so, so much, Mama." The unknown number texted back, "I love you so much, baby." Even though this morning was short, it was perfect. The teen messaged back, "I know, baby. It was perfect, baby. So perfect." The unknown number then texted, "I love having sex with you." The teen responded, I know, baby. I love it so much. It feels so good. It's so passionate. It's so intimate. It's so perfect. Can you imagine?
Oh, yes. We don't have to imagine little Becky up here on the screen with your little wrinkled up ass. We don't have to imagine. We see it. So there's no need to imagine. But I want to give a shout out to my good brother Black Truth United here. He posed a good, raised a good issue here in the chat room. He says, I wonder how many children she slept with. That's around 7 years filled with possible victims. You're absolutely right. Because see, look, you one thing you're about it. I'm glad you brought that up, brother. No matter which gender does it, when these people start doing this stuff regarding like pedophilia, what have you, you can better believe when the time that they get caught, that's not the only time they've done it. They've been fantasizing about it. It builds up. And see, this is why I say you can't rehabilitate that, because that's a sickness. Something is broken in you that humanity cannot fix. It ain't no type of drugs they're going to put you on. It ain't nothing. There ain't no sense they can give you and let you out and you just not do it. No. I propose the ultimate solution. You got two. You can either lock them away for life and let them die in prison, or you just go ahead and execute them. I don't care which, as long as they're not allowed to come back around people. Because if you let them out, they got to live somewhere, and sooner or later, they're going to make their way around some kids. I mean, they don't matter. They could be locked up for 20, 30 years. When they get out, they're going to go right back to doing the same goddamn thing. And see, I'm a permanent problem solver. I'm not somebody that say, okay, well, let's just give them a chance, rehab, then let them fake like they joining some type of religion, and they relapse and victimize another kid. And then see, I fall more on the side of this. I'm the type of person where I say, okay, if you could have taken preventative action to stop them from having future victims, why didn't you do it? That's on your watch now. If they come out and reoffend, and they all do. There's none of them that when they do that, man, there's none of them pedophile, rapists, whatever. They don't ever say, oh, I'm not going to do this again. I've had enough. No, because it's a sickness that cannot be fixed. So like I said, y'all know what my solutions are. We're going to get back into this, though, because this Becky up here talking about, can you imagine? Like, no, we ain't got to imagine. In your community, you have degenerate predators that prey on these kids. And see, I want to reiterate this. Black parents, you better sit down and talk to your kids and explain, especially the teenagers. You need to explain to them in detail, not speculation. You need to sit them down with books, open that up, educate them on how sexually transmitted diseases work. Because once again, it's a horror story, but just it's happened to somebody. What if one of these bitches have something and she don't know it and she give it to your teenage child? And they stuck with that for life, because children don't know any better. They have to be trained, okay? They don't know anything about how anatomy and diseases and things like that work. That's where the parents' job come in. It starts at home. As cliche as the saying is, it starts at home. And you better make sure you take that seriously, because see, if it ends up being your kid, hey, now think about how horrible that would be. You got a child and you go, they start getting sick, where you go to the doctor and they run a test and they tell you your kid got HIV, and all of a sudden they come out, they got it from some old pedophile ass teacher, huh? Either gender, so I'm just saying, let that marinate on your mind. Let's get back to it.
Parent, and you're setting up your kid's new phone, and this pops up on it. Court documents say the mom confronted her son, and he told his mom that was Christina's number, his soccer coach, and that they began flirting and had sex in her classroom once. According to the teen, he and the defendant had developed feelings for each other. This is all according to court documents. The teen said that one morning in December of 2023 before school, he had met up with defendant in her classroom. The teen said that defendant had closed her door, which automatically locked, that they had started kissing, that he had grabbed her butt, and she had grabbed his private parts over the clothes, that she had removed his pants and underwear, that they had removed her leggings, and that they had engaged in sexual intercourse while standing up. The prosecutor said the teen told them that he and Formella had sex just that one time when she was tutoring him. Police went to talk to Formella on Sunday, and they said she allowed them to look through her phone, and in the notes section, they found something in which she'd accused the teenage boy of cheating on her with his girlfriend. The officers said
Now look where this is going to go to show you how psychotic this bitch is. Your ass is 15 years older than this boy. You 30-some years old. Now you engage in a pedophile relationship with him. All right, taking advantage of this boy. Then, family, y'all not gonna believe this, because this is not uncommon. Then you turn around and you get jealous of the boy because he's talking to girls his own age. So you see the problems this could cause. And in their community, you know they love to start killing when they don't get their way. So it's a whole bunch of ways this could have went bad besides sexually transmitted diseases, pregnancies. Psychotic behavior was they flipping out, she's stalking them. And I mean, just think about how crazy these people are, the shit that they have done over the years in this country, huh? Oh, they're not done though. I want y'all to listen to this. They're about to lay out just how far gone this motherfucker was. And then it's gonna underscore why I say you cannot rehabilitate these types of people. Let it continue.
Formella wrote, "I'm not upset. I'm not mad. I'm not any of that. I've just lost interest. I went back and screenshotted every single time that I said we should break up until after the wedding and after you graduated. And every single effing time, you came back and convinced me it would be fine. I initiated every single..."
Keep in mind, she's telling this to a 15-year-old. A 15-year-old convinced her to do something. Huh? And see, before we get back to her, wait till y'all see this husband too, because we gonna get to him, trust me. Oh, we gonna get there. Before we get back to her though, the husband, I guarantee you, man, because see, this is one thing I keep telling all young men. It's easy if a chick is cheating on you how to tell. You ain't got to go through no phones. You ain't got to be trying to find out where they're going or none of that. Nah, if you are a man that has been trained by your father, you're going to be able to pick up on their behavior towards you. Because look, they can't really be attached to two men at the same time like that. I'm telling you what I know, not what I think, all right? You're going to find out, because their behavior, look, they're going to start being short-tempered with you. They're going to start trying to act like they can't give you their time. Because, see, that's the one thing that really going to get them caught up. If you're dealing with somebody in a long-term committed relationship or a marriage, you know you're going to be expecting to spend time with that person. When they start making up excuses about why they can't spend time with you, they always got to go somewhere. And I'm talking about behavior that they was not exhibiting before. I give you another tip, particularly with the women in their community. When they start making radical changes to their appearance, changing their hairstyles. Now, usually this is for an older adult, you know, that they're cheating on you with. But when they start changing them hairstyles, I'm going to tell you where that come from. Or other things, all right? How they dress, how they talk, using slang you ain't never heard before, things like that. What happens is this significant other that they cheating on you with, they've told them, hey, I like your hair like this, that, the third. So this is the thing. You can't serve two masters. So this is why I be telling people, man, you ain't got to be going through people's phone and all that. No, you just need to pay attention to people's attitudes and behavior. That's going to let you know everything you need to know. But, you know, I guarantee this little gang goofy guy here, when y'all seeing you going to bust out laughing even though it's not funny, you going to be like, bro, how you didn't see this coming? How you didn't pick up on her behavior and like, yeah, something ain't right. Even if he wouldn't have thought this, because I'm pretty sure he'll be like, oh, nah, if she cheating, it ain't going to be with no minor. But you know what I'm saying, fellas? How many of y'all feel where I'm coming from, huh? I mean, you know, especially if you had your father in life, you'd be like, something ain't right here. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you ain't got to be playing private eye and expect the gadget, inspect the Clouseau, whatever you want to name. Just pay attention to their behavior, man. It's going to give them away. Even the best of liars, they can't keep it up for long, man, because they're going to get caught up sooner or later. And I'm not talking about them blurting out the truth or slipping up and you finding something. No. They're perfect liars when it comes to that. I don't care which race of woman it is. I'm talking about their emotions is going to betray them, okay? If you pay attention close enough to what you should be paying attention to as far as like changes in their behavior, that's going to give them away. And when you find out, hopefully none of y'all will ever be in that situation. I never have been. You know what I'm saying? At least to my knowledge, just say that. All right? But if you ever do find yourself in this situation, hopefully you're not with no damn Becky, and, you know, you find out that she cheating on you, especially with some minor. First of all, you want to distance yourself away from that bitch for legal reasons. All right. Because, hey, that's something you don't want your name tied to. All right. Then on top of that, don't crash out. Don't start. I know it's easy said and done. Don't be losing your mind. Even if it's an adult she cheating on you with, you need to tell yourself, okay, cool. Glad I know what you really want. I'm not going to allow you to waste my time. Let's just go ahead and get this divorce proceeding started, whatever the case may be, and you go do what you do. I'm gonna go do what I do, because life goes on for you until you crash out, and it doesn't. I'm gonna say it again. If you a dude and you done experience that, and for you sisters, if you've experienced it, Life goes on for you until you crash out, and it doesn't. You have to keep in mind, no matter how angry you get, how hurt you are, and brothers, you should be better at controlling yourself than women. But no matter how hurt and angry you are, you got to tell yourself, life goes on for me if I just maintain my composure and don't crash out. There will be a next for you, all right? Because usually when them people do you like that, man, hey, ain't nothing good gonna come to him or her. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing good gonna come to either one of them. Either gender. You usually will be the best that they will be able to do. And then, hey, when they get back out here, boy, I'm going to tell you, boy, I have seen karma boomerang and knock the hell out of people. And I like, yeah, you had that coming, man. It never gets better for them either. See, that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize when you get in a situation where you feel like you've been taken advantage of. You be thinking that, okay, if I don't immediately get back at this person or what have you, yeah, they just going to be having the time of their life. No, they're not. No, they're not. See, that's the beauty about, becoming older and wiser. You learn how to be patient and sit back and watch things. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man, patience really is a virtue, and it's an asset too. It's something you definitely have to have if you want to win in life, okay? Yes, there's a time for action, etc., what have you, but be patient. Don't be crashing out behind worthless people. The number one thing I would tell men or women, if you're in a situation with somebody cheating on you, whatever, and you find out, especially if y'all don't have no type of open relationship or marriage or whatever, okay? The number one thing you need to be concerned with, besides not crashing out, just make sure your health is good, okay? If you land up with this person, they're not using protection or whatever, you know what I'm saying? That's the number one thing. You want to make sure your health is in order. If you got your health in order, cool. You won. You beat the game, okay? You find out you ain't got no type of sexually transmitted disease. Hey, you beat the game. All you got to do is keep corner road like, look, bitch, you can keep cheating with whoever the fuck you want to cheat with. I'm not touching your nasty ass no more. I'm not going to play with my health, all right? I'm going to stay focused. I don't give a fuck what you have. I'm going to get out of this situation. You keep the house, whatever. I don't care. I'm going to get away from you, okay? That's what you need to focus on is you. You need to become the most selfish motherfucker on the planet. I'm saying this to men and women alike, okay? Just make sure your health is good. You won the game, okay? But we're going to get back to this psychotic degenerate right here, man. Y'all finna see, boy, why I keep saying cannot reform no fucking pedophile of either gender. Let it continue.
Single breakup, only for you to end things saying you couldn't get over it. You ruined us. I warned you we should have never started dating a long effing me ago, and you gaslit me and convinced me it was fine every single time because that's who you are. We will never, ever be together again. I'm not a second choice. I'm the best thing you'll ever have, even with all of my mistakes. You once again waited and strung me along until it was convenient for you. It broke me last time. This time it changed me. I'm not sad. I'm effing mad that I let a 16-year-old F-word with me like that, and I made a promise to myself that I never will let any guy F-word with me like that again. Now,
family, do y'all hear that? You remember what I keep telling y'all over and over about grown people that are stuck in a state of arrested development? Now, if you didn't know the details that I presented to you thus far, and I didn't tell you that this was a 30-year-old woman, you would think that these are two teenagers arguing. You would think that she was a teenage girl arguing with another teenage boy about their little puppy love that they got going on. That's what you would think. Nope. This is a 30-year-old alabastress that's mentally stuck in the state of a teenager, okay? And see, this is why I keep telling brothers in our community and the sisters as well, when you vetting somebody, if you trying to get into something serious with them, you better pay attention to their maturity level, okay? Not just how attracted you are to this man or this woman, how the case may be. You better start trying to have conversations with them and pay attention to how they move as a person. Like, okay, is this person even mature enough to be engaged with me in any type of serious relationship? Because sometimes the answer may be no. Sometimes it might be a situation where you just temporarily experience them and then y'all go y'all separate ways, if that's what you choose to do. You understand me? See, a lot of people tend to overlook what I just said, and then they start blaming this person, that person. Like, no. Let me tell y'all something. This is hard for a lot of people to do. If you really want to master, improving yourself, you have to start with looking at yourself and being like, okay, what part did I play in not seeing this coming my way? Did I willfully ignore certain things? Because everybody, if you're honest with yourself, men or women, you know whether you ignored something when you was dealing with somebody or not. You know that. Other people might not know it, but you know it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, look, just be honest with yourself. And a lot of times assess these people's character. And if you see these red flags where you say, okay, yeah, this person is not on any type of maturity level to be dealing with, you need to understand that it will lead to them doing things just like we're reviewing here. Let's get back to it.
Now, on social media, it appears that Christina Formella married her husband last August. Police said there was a section in Formella's notes entitled Manifestations that read, "The teen is going to reach out to me soon and try to fix things between us. In the meantime, I'm going to live my best life, knowing he's not the person I thought he was and that he is beneath me."
When you hear that term, when any of these bitches is talking about some manifestation, you better understand that that's tied to juvenile thinking, okay? Let me make sure I'm clear on this, all right? Because I want my language to be clear, and I want men and women to learn from this broadcast tonight. When they get to talking like that, talking about manifestation, I'm going to wish something into existence, that's more on the line of a child's thinking. That doesn't mean that you don't strategize or envision the things you want, but that type of language like that, you know, like in a fantasy land, like I'm just going to wish something into existence. That's not the way adults in their right frame of mind think. You understand? So these are not small things, you know, and see, look, I'm going to be honest with you, man. As far as in our community, a lot of people tend to think that I'm just being trivial when I always point this out, but you better watch these heifers in our community that try to use that Forest Valley girl accent, because it's not just the inflection that they're speaking with that is a problem. No. The problem is they adopt that mindset of a Becky, and it includes bullshit like this. You understand me? I'm telling y'all, man, a lot of bed bugs don't like when you call that out, but I done had a couple of them had to admit to me, like, brother, you was right. You tried to tell me. You understand? Oh, yeah. So anyway, we're going to further continue to examine this, man, because like I said, it's a lot that goes into this, and they're reporting on it, but I'm going to point out the stuff that they leaving out because, see, when they're forced to report on things like this, they always try to just kind of gloss over it. Now, if it was a black person, what have you, oh, they go into wizard detail about everything. They psychoanalyze everything. But don't worry, I'm going to help them out with that tonight. Get back into it.
Police said they found another note in Formella's phone from November of 2024 that read, "The teen and I will connect again soon in a positive way. We will both get the closure we need in order to move on in a healthy way. We will be able to be a part of each other's lives forever. We will be in each other's lives forever.
There's nothing healthy about you being a pedophile, bitch. Notice this motherfucker that's reporting on this is not going to call this out the way I am.
We will be able to love each other while also living our own lives." Prosecutors say detectives interviewed Christina Formella and that she denied having sex with the teenage boy. And she said everyone comes after her because she's good looking and she cared too much about the teenage boy. When detectives confronted Formella about the notes in her phone, prosecutors said she claimed they were an outlet for her anxiety, which was brought on by this teenage boy. But in the same breath, they said that Formella admitted her relationship with the boy was wrong, but she couldn't stop it because she cared too much about him. Detectives said Christina Formella had referred to the boy as a...
Now, they trying to blur that husband's face out right here, but oh, don't worry. We going to take care of that a little bit later because I want y'all to see what this guy looks like. Because it's important to see what he looks like for a reason. We're going to get to it later.
Stalker, and that her husband knew about this. But when they asked her husband about the boy, he only knew about him as a soccer player. Christina Formella attended Concordia University in Chicago years ago before becoming a teacher. She played soccer there. She and her husband were married last summer, as I mentioned. Prosecutors had wanted her to remain in jail, but she was released and told she cannot go to the school grounds, and she's on paid administrative leave. She also can't have contact with the accuser in this case. I want to bring in Dan Shore. He is a former sex crimes prosecutor, and he's also the author of a new book coming out August 12th called Open Bar, and it's actually about a similar situation that we're discussing today about a coach having sex with a student, a player. So, Dan, thanks for coming on. I want your gut first reaction after reading the petition for detention. As a former sex crimes prosecutor, I want to know what you think about this case.
Well, one thing is, unfortunately, this is not uncommon. It's always shocking and it's newsworthy when a situation like this is learned about. But I've been prosecuting and investigating sexual misconduct cases for 25 years, and I've seen many cases of teachers, other people in authority having sexual relationships with underage people, both boys and girls. It's extremely disturbing. It's very hurtful to the students. There's also a lot of electronic evidence, according to law enforcement here, communications, writings on the teacher's phone. So obviously the teacher will have a chance to contest those in court, but it seems that at least law enforcement is saying there's a lot of corroboration. It's not just the word of the student. There's a lot of electronic communication that seems consistent with the sexual relationship that's alleged.
Now, every time I do one of these cases, I cover one of these cases, there's always going to be somebody in the comments that's, says there's this like jocular kind of thing going on where somebody's like, oh, where was she when I was in high school, or something like that. And, people may say that with this case because.
Okay, so I'm going to point something out here while they talking, right? Oh, yeah. I'm pointing something out here because, see, they trying to they tried to hide his face or what have you, like the husband was the minor. No. Oh, no, we're not going to do no hiding over here. We're going to put it all on Front Street. So, if I'd have been, let me, we're going to blow this up. Let me do this, okay? I want to show you something here. Oh, yeah. I'm going to get deep on this. Okay, so now this is her and her husband right here, okay? Yeah, take a good look at him, all right? Take a good look at him. Big, goofy-looking motherfucker, all right? Grinning and cheesy, you know what I'm saying? And then her little old ridiculous-looking ass, I guess is when she didn't have too much makeup on because it was out there at that practice or what have you. Now, you look at these two. Now, family, I want y'all honest opinion on this before we get back to the news coverage here of it. Do they look like, because I'm trying not to laugh at the situation because what she did ain't funny, but I'm looking at these two together. Family, do it look like that he's in her league or is he punching in his weight class? That's what I'm trying to say. Now, come on, man. Just think about it. Is he punching in his weight class? Because, see, think about it. I'm going to tell you what this looked like to me. Okay? And you know what? Oh, let me scroll up. I want y'all to see something here so that you know this is actually her husband. Okay? Oh, yeah. Want you to see something, then I'm going to give you my thoughts, okay? Because, okay, here it is. The Chicago Special Education team, because she was also dealing with special ed kids. So I'm like you, Black Youth United. I wonder how many other children that she molested, especially special education kids that are not mentally all together. Ain't no telling what's going on. Them children's parents need to be investigating stuff. But it said the Chicago area special education teacher got married to a college sweetheart in August. They are pictured here in college at Concordia University, okay? So this is from her Facebook page or what have you. But now, do it look like he was punching in his weight class, family? We just gonna be honest here, huh? Yeah, exactly, Michael Williams. It's a mix, not a match. Black Truth United says nope. Okay, so now the reason why I'm going here, let me tell y'all something, man. And see, all men and sisters, if you listen to this, don't be offended because you need to teach your sons what I'm saying. So do not be offended because this could help them. All men need to understand when you're not somebody's first choice. That's not a harmless thing. Don't you be the dummy that believe this. Oh, well, they'll grow to love you. No, they don't. If you somebody's second choice, let me tell you why that's dangerous, because you basically going to be a placeholder until they get the opportunity to be with who they really want. And you can tell because, see, think about it, right? I would love to know what the whole process of him pursuing her was, because I'm going to tell you something you don't ever do. And thank God I had fathers and uncles to teach me this. If you shoot your shot at somebody and they're not feeling you, man, cool. Let it be, bro. Don't try to force no type of attraction, because think about it. Let's just say this dude, because I think this is probably what happened. I could be wrong, but let's just say this dude had kept trying to shoot his shot, and oh boy, she getting attention from all these other guys, and she wasn't even paying him no attention. Then all of a sudden, when they get finished fucking with her ass, you know what I'm saying, and then they let it be known that, hey, okay, you old news, move on, we ain't trying to deal with you no more. If she come with the, hey, big head, you gonna spin the block back, and his goofy ass was like, oh my God, this is my chance. She finally sees me. And then his stupid ass went and married him, and then the rest of the football team that ran the train on his thigh, because she looked like it, okay? And the rest of them are like, oh man, boy, he finna marry our leftovers. Should we tell him, fellas? You know what I'm saying? Ain't no telling how many blumpkins she done performed or what have you. Because you know these white bitches are just disgusting, okay? I mean, I keep telling folks, the white bitches, man, I don't care how they try to talk about Sexy Red, Glorilla, Sukihana, y'all know I keep my foot on their neck. They will never be as nasty as any of these white bitches. I'm telling you, that they couldn't even catch up. I guarantee you, it's certain shit that white bitches will do that all three of the women I just named would be like, that's a bridge too far. Even I couldn't do that. Glorilla, Sexy Red Suki, they be like, bitch, I'm not giving nobody no blumpkin. I'm gonna give them that much dignity until they prove me wrong. I honestly think them three black women, turbo thoughts they are, will be like, nope, not doing that. Okay. So now if you look goofy ass here, and that boy look like, I got to decline it for a minute, because he kind of looked like the son of Shrek, man, or something like that, man. He looked like a little goofy troll out of a movie or something. Goofball ass. And you couldn't see, because I know this bitch spent the block back on his ass. He probably been trying to get at her, and you going to pick up the football team leftovers, man. Absolutely pathetic. But, I just wanted to show it to y'all, man. I wanted y'all to see it, man, because we're not done yet, because, this is going to come back up a bit later here, but I had to take time to show y'all that, man. We're going to get our jokes in on that situation, but definitely not what she did, because that's no laughing matter. Let's let it continue.
The text messages that are cited in this complaint, in this petition, talk about this guy, this kid, basically liking this and enjoying it. I love you, mama, and how great this was, etc. And she's saying in her notes, allegedly, about how he strung her along, and she's making it sound like he was the one calling the shots. But that's not, according to law enforcement, the power dynamic here. She's the teacher. She's the 28-year-old. But then you're going to have people who say, well, it takes two to tango, whether he was 15 or not. Can you please respond to all of that?
Sure. And those are great points to raise. I've seen that throughout my career. Whenever there's a teacher who's female and a student underage who's male, there's a lot of reaction in society. You see this in the media. I see this with people I talk with, where it's like, oh, that's great for him. He must have enjoyed that. There's this concept that, well, if he's a...
I got to pause it. I know we examining something serious here, but I got to point this out, because I know I'm not the only one that has observed this in the chat room here. Family, what's wrong with this boy's head right here? That boy got a railroad spike head. Look at this. It look like somebody just smushed this shit. Get like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? And he sounds like he got a little sugar in his tank too. I mean, is it just me, or y'all picking that up? I know I'm not the only one that knows this boy's head and this sugary inflection that he's speaking in here, okay? This boy seems like, he's got some confection in the intonations of his voice here. I mean, I'm just saying, family. I'm just saying. Let's get back to it.
Boy, he must have wanted sex, and it's harmless, as opposed to if there's a 15-year-old girl who's a student and a male teacher, then everyone's horrified and condemns that. I have seen a lot of movement, fortunately, over my career, where I think we're beginning to recognize as a society that a male student is preyed upon in these situations. They do have serious psychological impacts from these experiences, that they are a victim under the law, that they're not able to consent. And the teacher in general in these situations is in a position of power and control, and often they use that to manipulate somebody. So law enforcement more and more is taking these situations seriously. But as you talked about, I definitely see in society, in the media, there is, unfortunately, people aren't taking it seriously if there's a male victim as opposed to a female victim in these cases. Fortunately, that's changing to some extent, but not enough.
When we read through the petition, one thing that struck me was the fact that the prosecutor said that Christina Formella tried to say, everybody comes after me. I'm cute, so I'm a target. That to me almost sounds like the Mean Girls defense. Like, all the other girls are jealous of me, so they come after me. Have you?
And see, this is what I don't like about this type of reporting here, because, bitch, you've done it too. All you white women do that. Every last one of them do that. Because, see, you got to understand how they're raised, okay? Because it goes into, see, this is where there's a problem in their society. With the little girls, they raise them to get whatever the fuck they want. That phrase, free, white, and 21, that starts when they're kids. They just let them have the most awful behavior coming up. There's no discipline. There's no structure. And then when they get older, they go out into the real world like that. Now, why do they do that? They have to train these Karens from youth on up to let them know that, hey, this is Karen training. It starts when they're toddlers, okay? And see, when you don't correct bad behavior early on, it becomes a habit. And this is why they do the things they do in this society. Now, you flip that over to the white supremacist males, it's slightly different. They're more so taught to be the enforcers of white supremacy. They're taught, okay, look, you got to be on code. Whatever we get ready to do as a white supremacist male group, you got to be on board with it, or else you gonna get punished. Like, you know, the ancestor now, Neely Fuller Jr. taught us, if the white supremacists don't understand the rules of white supremacy by age 15, they get in trouble. You know, by 15, you got to know what the rules are. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's supposed to stay on code. So now, even in them reporting this story, notice they're not covering it in the same tone, and I'm going here, they're not covering it in the same tone that they're covering the Carmelo Anthony story. Huh? Carmelo Anthony, I know he ain't mess with no underage children. He was in a self-defense situation. But they talking about him like he the scum of the earth. Notice how they really treating this with kid gloves, even in their description of it. And notice, too, that in each situation where they catch these white pedophile teachers doing this, don't nobody step up and say, you don't ever see them talking to their city council, the mayor, nobody saying, listen, the maximum sentence, maximum sentence starting for anybody caught doing that should be at least 30 years to life, okay? 30 years to life. If it was up to me, I would just say, let's go ahead and get your life. We catch you doing that, Mr. Kid, because you shouldn't be back on the streets. But to start with, you got to give us 30, no parole, okay? You got to walk these 30 down, and you know what I'm saying? Then we'll see what we're going to do with you from there, okay? Because I'm like this. Look, I tell you what, for the people that's like, that's inhumane. If they do their sentence, they should get out. Okay, cool. I got something for you. See, this is where you need to invest some money in building something like Alcatraz. Like, okay, you get to live, but you're going to live out here in the sea somewhere away from the mainland. We'll bring you food and all the other stuff, but you are not coming back around nobody's kids. No, we'll put your ass out somewhere where, like, yeah, you... Okay, you said you didn't want to be in prison. You're going to live out here in your own little community until you die. I mean, I'm just saying, if you don't want to be in prison, you don't want to be executed, well, hey, this is the next best thing. Take it or leave it. Like I said, everybody be glad I'm not running the show. Anyway, y'all going to hear where they're about to go in this. I want y'all to pay attention because they're going to say something very interesting here. Then I'm going to pause it when they get to us. Let's let it continue.
Ever experienced that with somebody kind of using that to try to get out of trouble?
I've heard that kind of theme, but ultimately that kind of argument isn't going to resonate. And I don't think it's a serious argument that's going to be put forward by this defendant. She might have said it to law enforcement, but ultimately this is a strict liability crime, which means that if they had any kind of sexual interactions while the student is underage, it is illegal. It is sexual misconduct. It is rape. So it doesn't matter who came after who. The 15-year-old is by law not capable of consent. So the question is going to be, did they have any kind of sexual interactions? And if so, was he underage? He was certainly underage. And there's a lot of text messages to corroborate that there was some kind of sexual interaction, although she's innocent until proven guilty. But it's going to come down to whether or not law enforcement can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they did have some type of sexual relationship while he was underage. It doesn't matter whether someone came after her for a motive or not. It's whether or not they had sexual intercourse or other sexual conduct while he was underage.
Okay, now I let him get all that out for a reason. So now everybody seems to be agreed upon how terrible this is when you are messing with a minor and you're a grown adult. There's no excuse for it. He's laid out the law and made the case. I let him get that out for a reason. So now my question to all of you family is this. Why don't they have the $1 million bond set for these damn pedophiles? Those should be the one that have to sit in jail until their trial start. Oh, but let a black person defend themselves against being jumped on by these white supremacists. Oh, yeah, your bill got to be $1 million+, huh? Yeah, I'm going there with it. See, these are things we have to bring back up to them. Because if you notice in most of these pedophile cases, they don't have no sky high bail like that. Oh, no, it's not in the millions. No. Okay, because you know with bail, you just have to post 10% of it. Then you can go back home into your trial or whatever conditions they set for you. But that's one of the situations where, you shouldn't be able to post bail for that. Or they just should make it so high where if you do post it, it's going to cost you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just some food for thought there. Let's let it continue.
Let's play devil's advocate here for just a moment. I mean,
Bitch, you are the devil. You don't have to play devil's advocate. I had to throw that one in there. Let's play devil's advocate. Look at how that bitch look right there. Talking about playing. Bitch, you are a devil. Let's let it continue.
Say for just a moment, and she's the adult here. She's the 28-year-old in this scenario. But let's play devil's advocate and say that the 15-year-old kid, the soccer player, was putting the moves on and was the aggressor, if you will. He, let's look at it from that perspective. As a teacher, I mean, you have kind of the obligation to say, hey, you're a kid. This is weird. And go to the administration, I would assume, and put a stop to this and say, there's something going on here. And then you shouldn't be like attracted. I mean, there's a problem if you're attracted to a 15-year-old boy, right?
Okay, now you hear all this, how she sounds like, oh boy, she's just so sincere about this. But see, I'm going to show you where she and others are hypocrites at. Family, and I know a lot of y'all probably don't listen to their music just like I don't, but I want you to walk with me on this. I'm bringing this up for a reason. How many of y'all remember when Justin Bieber hit the scene when he was a little kid? Y'all remember that, when his little anti-black racist ass? Oh, I'm finna go somewhere. How many of y'all remember when Justin Bieber came onto the music scene and he was like, what, 13? Shit, he was, what, 14, 15? He was something like that. I know he couldn't be in 16. He was like early teens, okay? Y'all remember that? You remember how many of them old ass white women was talking about how sexy and attractive he was? Oh, hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you, I'm like Pepper's Farm. I don't forget nothing. Pepper's Farm remembers. Oh, I remember. So on the one hand, she's talking like this about this fire crash teacher here, but I'm like, most of y'all be looking at these so-called little underage white boys as entertainers talking about how attractive you are with it. Because y'all remember that. You can still find this stuff now. Grown ass women kissing on this boy and talking about what they would do to him and all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden when, something like this happened, they want you to pretend as if that's not a part of their culture, okay? Just like they be talking about our culture. I'm like, no, I put their culture right back in front of them. That same degeneracy. You understand? Huh? Oh, yeah. I'm going there. Just let it continue.
Right. And that's not going to be a serious legal defense. Maybe they might put that forward if there's a conviction to try to mitigate the sentence. But again, let's go back to what you said before about the gender issue here. If it was a male teacher who was 28 and a female student who was 15, we would never say, well, she came on to him, so it was justified that he had sex with her, right? That wouldn't even be a thought. But I know in society, it's more excused if they think the 15-year-old boy was the aggressor and therefore he got what he wanted and therefore it's less of a crime. That's not legally a defense, but I understand in society that concept sometimes resonates with people.
When you read through the notes in her phone that the prosecutor said they recovered, and she's saying, this is an outlet for anxiety and things of that nature. As a former prosecutor, what did those notes say to you?
Right. So the notes clearly are consistent with a sexual relationship with this student, and they're pretty long notes. They're not just minor comments. They're really details about their relationship. And she needs to, as a defense, find a way to explain why she would have written them and not have it be about the student. So she in part said that certain parts where she alluded to actual sex were about her husband. She talked about how, in those notes, she was talking about how this 15-year-old had had a relationship with another girl and she was jealous of that or felt that he was betraying her with that. That also seems consistent with her having a sexual relationship with him. She's saying that she did feel that he had betrayed her, but that it wasn't because they had had sex. So that's going to be a tough thing for her to explain. But a defendant in a criminal case does not have a burden of proof. They don't have to explain anything as long as they can show there's a reasonable doubt that she had sexual relations with this student. But those text messages, those notes on her phone really corroborate the allegations here. So it's going to be tough for the defendant to explain that in a way that's more innocent.
Yeah. Also, they said they found screen grabs of this kid's Instagram with his shirt off on her phone. Yikes, Dan. I just can't even imagine the mother of this kid. I mean, I'm a mom. I can't imagine. I mean, if I found that on my kid's phone, it'd be hot. She did the right thing going right to the cops.
Right. And the way the mother found out about it was there was a new device that was purchased and she was helping log in to the new device and she saw these messages and then found the other information. And many of these cases with underage students having sex with teachers, they are reported because a parent or guardian or some other person in position of authority finds out about it and reports it. And often that adds another complication to these cases, that The student themselves is often a reluctant person coming forward to law enforcement, and that may affect what they tell the police, how they tell it, whether they're cooperative if it goes to trial, because often they're not the ones reporting it, as is the case here.
We're going to keep an eye on this one. It's sad and interesting, but very sad. Thank you so much, Dan Shore.
Thank you. It's always great to talk with you.
You too. I want to turn now to Jonna Spilbor.
Now, I want you to watch where they're about to take this examination of this story here, okay? So now you saw there was a white man sitting there talking about it with this white woman over here. Now she's going to bring in this other little strong-faced white woman to talk about it. And this is going to take an interesting shift and them discussing it. And see, I want you to notice something else when it comes to these types of stories, family. You ever notice that when they're talking about something egregious like this that one of their own has done, you ever notice they don't have a black anchor up there oftentimes with the white person to critique this? Very rarely do you see it, because like if they do have a black person up there, it's only one, but they make sure the rest of the room is a whole bunch of white men and white women. You ever notice that? That's done by design, because see, one thing they understand is their media apparatus is used to demonize us. They don't really use it to demonize their own people, okay? And look, regardless of whether they liberal, conservative, whatever, they do not play other black people up there on their mainstream media chastising white folks like they, no matter what they do. Y'all ever notice that? This is some extra food for thought for you, but watch where this conversation is about to go now that she's got another white woman up there. Let it continue.
Is a criminal defense attorney in New York State. Jonna, I know you've got a lot to say about this case. The allegations here are really disturbing. We have a 30-year-old woman who was 28 when this happened and a 15-year-old boy. So a lot going on with this case, sex in the classroom. And then it sounds like we have a 28-year-old woman who is having a lot of problems and issues letting go.
Oh, my. Yeah, that's almost that's one of the toughest things to swallow about this case. Look, none of these cases are easy. And historically, we look, like this isn't the first time we've seen this type of, victim perpetrator, right? Mary Kay Letourneau was a very famous one. Deborah LaFave, if you remember that case, another famous sort of teacher-student dynamic going on. This one, I have a lot of questions because the defendant in this case, first of all, can we just say, I don't care what you're accused of, why do defendants talk to the police? Like, she did a lot of talking. She did a lot of explaining about her notes and her, various reasons why, the contact that she was having with this child. Like, she didn't need to do that.
Now, I want you to catch this. Granted, yes, this is a defense attorney that's talking, but make no mistake that them airing this segment right here, notice how it was set up. First, they had the first guy on there talking about how bad it was and how illegal it was, etc. Now, you better believe that this was structured so they had this defense attorney coming up here to give you instructions in white America on how not to get caught, okay? Oh, yes, I know the average person think, oh, you reaching. No, I'm not. They don't do anything by accident on their airwaves. Okay? Because, see, you got to look at it this way. They know that they're the biggest pedophiles in this country, both genders, the men and the women, okay? So since they know they're not trying to mass incarcerate each other, they're like, they put. So you got to understand, the way they use their media, it's a lot different than we perceive it. They're sending messages beyond us to their people. You have to be intelligent enough to catch that. That's what we try to teach y'all over here in New Black Media Platforms, okay? Understand something. These are instructions to the rest of their pedophiles, like, hey, look, you guys better listen to this so that if you're doing this, don't do X, Y, Z, because you're making us all look bad, okay? They don't really care about those so-called 14 words, protecting, white supremacy and having a future for white children, okay? They don't care nothing about their kids. When you talk to most of them, I'm going to tell you something that everybody in here probably experienced. If you got any white people that you cordial with, when they get drunk and start talking about stuff, man, they be telling about all kinds of horrific shit that was done to them during kids. Back to business just recently. It popped back up that, what's the little chick, Danielle Bergoli, the one that calls her bad baby? She was talking about how her mama boyfriend molested her when she was from, I say, very young age. She was like a toddler, like 6 years old. And then she was talking about her security guard molested her from 13 to 16. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm like, man, like I said, that's a part of their culture. So make no mistake that what she's about to do here, this is not just to be discussing it from a professional standpoint. This is sending a message to the rest of their degenerates in their society, since it's most of them, on how you can go about evading getting caught and what not to do, you know what I'm saying, if you're accused of it. Let's let it continue.
But it gives us a big insight into her mental disease. I mean, Anjanette, what else can we call it? Like, she is not, nobody who engages in this kind of relationship is right in the head, but she's got all these weird kind of explanations for everything, and it just does not serve her well. Mentally, something is extremely off.
Well, not only did she do a lot of talking and explaining, she also just let the cops look at her phone, according to what the prosecutor wrote in the petition for detention, which was denied. She was released. So it sounds like she allowed them to look through her phone. They start looking through her phone, and then they find all of these notes. And she's talking about this kid a lot in her notes. And it sounds like, at least from what we're reading in the notes that they cite, that she's accusing this kid of cheating on her with his high school girlfriend. I mean, he's a kid.
Let me pause it right here, because see, she's talking about this as like, oh my God, I can't believe she did this. See, this is the problem too when you get these two women up here talking about it. They're not going to acknowledge the standpoint that's a fatal flaw for most women if they don't keep this shit in check. Once they let their emotions run rampant, their logic goes completely out the window, okay? If you look over here at the situation where that little helper hit that other young girl in the head when they was running in that race, that track competition, her emotions got the better of her to the point where she was like, I can't let her beat me again. Let me just hit her in the head. Never mind, the consequences of that shit, okay? It's the same thing. I don't care which demographic of women you're dealing with. When they let their emotions get out of check, they do stupid shit, and the hell with the consequences, okay? We've seen this for time immemorial, all right? They're not going to say what I just said, though, because they're two women. They don't even think that that's a problem. That's the sad thing about something. When something is clearly, something that you prone to being a victim of or prone to falling prey to, and you can't even see that this is something you do on a repetitive basis to the point that it's second nature. Oh, yeah. See, I'm going to bring it up, though. Okay, so you got to understand that while she was texting this boy, all she was caught up in is how she feels and what she wants. Never mind if you get caught. Because see, think about it. Not that I would condone it, not that I would want to see it happen. But if somebody was engaged in any type of criminal or illegal behavior, you would think they would, like, logic would say, hey, don't put all this on this phone. Don't talk like this in a manner where somebody can retrieve it and pull it up. Because, see, you got some people stupid enough today to think that just because you delete something off social media or off a phone, it always gone forever. No, it's not. Oh, trust me, that's one of my wheelhouse. I can pull up anything that's been deleted. Trust me. With the right equipment and the right skill set, oh, trust me, there's no such thing as deletion on any device. It can be recovered. The only way that something is completely destroyed is if whatever is housing that information has been burnt or blown up or something like that. And then depending on what you didn't blow up, if certain things are remaining intact, you can still retrieve the information that way. You understand? But, I digress. My point is, when people are carried away in emotions, I don't care whether it's men or women, logic goes out the window, and this is what sets them up to be easily caught. Let it continue.
Who has a high school girlfriend, and she's a grown-up in a position of power and trust. Yikes. I mean, this is the psychology of this that I don't quite understand.
And that's what these cases typically boil down to, right? This is a psychological component to this form of pedophilia. And it makes me beg this question, right? When we see this dynamic, typically, I don't have the exact statistics, but typically when we cover these cases, what are we covering? We're covering an adult female teacher, right? Engaging in sexual relations with a
Notice she didn't want to say we're covering an adult white female teacher. You don't see too many black women getting caught up like this with these pedophile cases. Very few and far in between. Notice, see, you got to understand something. When they're the majority face of something, they don't really want to cop to that. Or they want to lay claim to everything else except for their degenerate criminality. And see, just like we put the tellers' criminality back in their faces, we're going to put the white supremacists' degeneracy and their criminality back in their faces. We're not going to let them walk away from that. No, ma'am. You're not going to just say a female teacher. No, it's a white female teacher. Y'all are the majority of the ones molesting these kids out here. So let it continue.
A teenage male victim. So that is something that's almost, to me, a subset of the broader umbrella of pedophilia. There's got to be a common denominator. If we dug into all of the similar cases,
oh, it is, Becky. It's right in front of you. White women are the common denominator. You keep on glossing over. Think about it. As tragic as this is, that's like somebody that's got something right in front of their face. Like you say, you can't see the forest for the trees. There has to be a common denominator. Yes, it's your women. That's the ultimate common denominator in each of these cases. Man, boy, you cannot make this up.
Historically, we dug in. What do all these perpetrators have in common somewhere, underneath?
They're all white women.
Have something, some psychological issue that was brewing for a long time. I don't believe any of these women, including this defendant, I don't think they wake up one day and go, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to have sex with one of my teenage students. I don't think.
Bitch, that's exactly what they do. Listen to how she's trying to downplay this. Talking about they don't think they just wake up one day and decide that. Okay, well, if they didn't, because I told y'all, and I'm one of the few people that y'all will hear say this and consistently and in detail, there's a difference between a mistake and a bad decision. Mistake, unforeseen occurrence, could happen to anybody. Something that happens because there's no information that you have prior or warning to prevent it from happening. A bad decision is a series of thoughts that leads to a choice, okay? And these are choices. So yes, she did. This was premeditated. First, you started looking at the little boy, okay? Then you start entertaining those types of thoughts. Whoever initiated the flirting, you didn't do anything as an adult to stop it or report the situation. You kept it going and to the point that you were actually intimately involved with the minor. So yes, the bitch did wake up one day and decide that she was going to sleep with one of her students. See, that's what I don't like when people start reporting on this kind of stuff, where they start trying to sugarcoat it and flip and flop and turn it into something that it's not. No, it's plain and simple. That's exactly what she did. That's exactly what she did. Let it continue.
I think that's the case. Something is slow burning under the surface. And why can't we figure out what that is before these people are put in a position to abuse their power?
Because you don't want to punish other white people. That's why y'all don't figure that out. Salute to the good brother Black Truth United for the cash, y'all. Y'all don't want to punish other white people. That's why you can't figure that out. The problems with all of their society, because really, to be honest with you, for all the bullshit they be talking about, black on black crime and all that, no, most of their problems are caused by their people. One, let's just look at the basic fact of proximity. Most of them live around each other. Okay? So most of their problems are from their community. But again, because they don't want to mass incarcerate their own people, and they have to keep this propaganda narrative up that black people are just the end all be all of all the ills of American society. Oh, Chicago, this, that, the third. They can't keep Chicago out of their mouth. That's nowhere near the most violent city in America. You got to look to Memphis, Tennessee for that. Okay? They see, this is the detriment, too, about lying to yourself, being a pathological liar to the point that you forget that this was just an exercise in propaganda, but you start believing your own propaganda, even though it's not true. So when you start doing that, you can't deal with problems and fix them because you're not looking at things from a realistic point of view. You're not dealing with reality. They point and look at everybody else here and outside of America, talking about what everybody else need to do, but they're the biggest degenerates on the goddamn planet. That's the irony about their system. It's eating itself from within. And to be honest with you, this is why I want the orange man in office. He is accelerating these people's demise as far as them being in charge. They already been to be the minority in this country. Oh, that's going to continue. They can't stop that because the further them birth rates plummet, I'm telling you, man. And look, family, this is another thing. The lower them numbers get, you better understand that they're going to get more erratic and more irrational. They're going to be trying to target black people more because we're going to be the number one targets. But here's something else that I want you to really think about in this country before we get back to this. Most of these people that you see in this country, you notice that there's more older white people in this country than younger white people. Gen Z is the smallest demographic of white people they've ever had in this country. Oh, they're concerned about that. A lot of people act like, see, like to us, that's not something that the average black person would be concerned with, but they're super concerned with it. You better think back to, I want to say, what was it? Congressman Rogers or whatever, some of the white supremacists, I think his last name was Rogers. He was talking about there's not enough white children in these classrooms. Oh, they are pissed about this. But it ain't nothing that we can do to stop them because see, I've already run down the list. One of the greatest things amongst many others that they've done to contribute to their low birth rates is segregating themselves in these little enclaves and all that cousin living that they got going on. Yeah, see, when you commit incest, you damage your family's gene pool. You start having all types of genetic defects, mental disorders, etc. There's a reason you're not supposed to be laying up with your family members. But, hey, that's going to be black folks' people's fault too. They'll find a way to blame us. Just like these degenerate teachers right here, I wouldn't be surprised if y'all would show me something where they try to blame what their women are doing on us. I can see them trying to blame Sexy Red and Suki Hunter for that. I'm like, nah, y'all was doing this long before they came along. Now, that's one time when I would actually defend them. I'm like, no, you can't blame them. I've been had this going on way back when. I'm talking about in the 70s on, it's definitely in the 90s. So now it was way before their time. Let's get back to it.
Shouldn't that be next? I mean, how many more kids got to get abused before we figure that out?
This is the interesting thing to me, what you just brought up. The prosecutor is saying, the state's attorney is saying that this happened in December of 2023 and that it was only discovered because mom gets her kid a new iPhone and she starts hooking this thing up and logs into the cloud or whatever and sees these text messages. And I can't even imagine as a mom, I'm like looking and I'm like, what is this? And you're like, you start grilling your kid and your kid is not going to be able to hide any of this from mom. He's going to crumble and eventually tell mom. He's going to have to fess up. And then this comes to light. I mean, you're telling me this happened once, and these are all allegations at this point. She is innocent until proven guilty.
And we know damn well it didn't just happen once because, see, you think about how mentally deranged and obsessed that woman was with that minor student. You really believe that just happened one time? Of course, he's going to say that because he don't want to get her in any more trouble. But all of us with common sense know, look, they need to look at the so-called time that they found out that this was going on. You really think it wasn't going on before then? No. This happened way more than once. That there's no such thing as a pedophile getting a taste of a victim one time. They're like, I got what I need. I'm not going to do that again. No, that's just not even realistic or intelligent to even believe that. Let it continue.
I do want to say that. But this happened once, and she's been a teacher since 2017 in the state of Illinois. She's been registered. She's been a coach, a soccer coach. And this happened once. This was the only time. So it makes me wonder, is there more? Did this happen possibly before? It makes me question that. And what is going on? Like, how can we better screen these teachers? And are we hiring teachers that are maybe like too young? And I hate to say that because you have to start somewhere, but it's like these are younger women who are around younger guys, and same thing with younger male teachers around younger female students.
Now, that's something I don't like that she just tried to do here, because I already told y'all what the answer to the problem is. You let the younger white teachers, since they just got to have the white ones, let the younger teachers have an apprenticeship period for about 3 to 5 years with an older senior teacher. So it should be 2 teachers in the classroom. They should be shadowing them, in other words, okay, learning the profession and learning how to deal with the students, and that way they're monitored. Okay, we need to have these cameras and all, because that's another thing too. In this room where this went down, where was the cameras at? It's supposed to be cameras in all these classrooms, man. That's something I would have mandatory. I'm like, no, ain't gonna be no such thing where a teacher and a student is in a facility that they're unmonitored. No, we would have cameras running 24/7 every classroom. Only place cameras wouldn't be is in the bathroom somewhere. So you know if you see somebody, cameras in the hallway that show a teacher going into either bathroom with a student, okay, yep, let's go ahead and arrest you right now, buddy, no matter which gender it is. But see, you know, she's sitting up here talking crazy like this, you know what I'm saying, trying to pretend like she don't know what the solution is. Like I already said, I already gave y'all what the solution could be. They decided to implement it. In addition to cameras in these rooms, I mean, there's ways to stop this stuff. It's not like, oh my God, this is just something that just can't be stopped. See, because think about it. Anytime they get ready to deal with black people and they perceive us to be a problem, oh, they got all the solutions in the world about how to clamp down on us and stop problems. But when it's their own people, oh, don't nobody know nothing all of a sudden. Everybody's an idiot. Nobody understands anything. Everybody's at a loss for words. Everybody's trying to figure out how could this happen. I'm like, no, man, if you apply the same energy that you do in trying to oppress black people and clamping down on the real problems in your community, you can prevent a lot of this and protect the kids if that's what you're really interested in. But, you know, that's not where their mind is, because if it was, they would be doing the things that I talked about. So let it continue.
You know, you would think at this point, we have tests for a lot of things. We have aptitude tests, right? You figure out what you're supposed to.
And see, that's the other thing, too, I need to tack onto this. She's talking about aptitude tests, but see, the other thing I meant to point out, you notice what I don't like that she did? She tried to flip it back onto the men. I'm like, no, the men are not the ones that's getting caught at these high numbers messing with these kids. Because most men are smart enough to know if you engage into a legal relationship with a minor at school, you know you got a risk of getting caught. Most men are smart enough to understand that, okay, this you dealing with this underage child, she might try to set you up and say, okay, hey, look, yeah, we did XYZ, but if you don't do XYZ for me, I'm going to tell them you did XYZ. You know what I'm saying? And rightly so, because you're a fucking pedophile. You shouldn't be doing it in the first place. But I'm just saying, I didn't like how she tried to point out there earlier with her comments talking about, well, the men. No, it ain't the men. That's the problem. Oh, no, most of the men that got sisters know not to do that shit. I'm not saying they don't, but that's in very small numbers compared to all these damn fire crotch, nasty ass, rotten, seafood scented sack of shit white women here that's preying on these damn kids. Let it continue.
To be good at. We have other psychological tests. We have forensic people who do evaluations on clients, for example, all the time. You would think that you would, when you have these kind of positions of power, that would be part of the interview process. You have to submit to a test to make sure that we're not hiring a pedophile in disguise. Because like I said, it doesn't. When you read, and if anybody.
Now check this out, family. She's talking about this test. Oh, a test. Like there's some magical litmus test. A person can lie, okay? Unless you talking about a polygraph or something like that. But even that can be fake. You know, the most skilled liars, they know how to beat a polygraph. But she's talking about like you can put down this test. Oh, this is the magical test. It's going to tell us whether you're going to do this or not. No, there's no test that can tell you when you're going to do that or not, because that's an impulse decision. That's a decision that somebody makes that they're going to prey on children. They can mark out. Think about it, what kind of test. See, there's a reason why, boy, they would be glad that I'm not involved in any type of questioning with somebody like this. Because I'm going to be like, ma'am, what type of tests or questions are you going to propose that's going to tell us if somebody's a potential pedophile or not? Especially when it's in their right frame of mind, they'd be like, okay, I'm going to answer what everybody should say that would give you the best indication that they're not that. Man, boy, these are the high IQ people, though. These are the ones that tell us they got so much sense, though, huh? Let's let it continue.
Digs into this case and they read her notes. To me, that's as disturbing. She's treating this teenage student as if they had been in some adult long-term relationship, and you know she's got to give him a dressing down because he aggravated her and she's the best thing that's ever happened to him, and like, what is going on in your brain? So that really, and if she's going to be defended, that's going to be part of it, like some sort of trauma that this person suffered. But again, it's not just her. Historically we see this dynamic over and over. There's got to be a way to stop the madness, but we haven't figured that out yet, apparently.
One thing that kind of bothered me was that she said, everybody, according to what the prosecutor wrote, everybody comes after me because I'm cute, I'm pretty, so I'm a target. I was like, oh my goodness, like this is like a bad TV show. It seemed, she obviously felt like, according to what they're trying to portray in this document, that she was in a bind and she was trying to pull every trick out of the book to help herself.
That's what it comes across as. And that's why, and again, just technically speaking, when somebody is being accused of any crime, especially a heinous crime, shut up. And I don't say that flippantly. I say that, you have a constitutional right not to be a witness against yourself. You have a constitutional right to remain silent. And people don't understand that is usually a good idea. Unless you are a narcissist who's in denial about your own mental health, like this particular defendant who's waxing on and on about a teenage boy.
Ma'am, you just described the greater majority of your community talking about narcissists that don't care about their mental health. Boy, the irony of that statement, family. Oh, man. They're white, so they don't get how silly they look when they say something like that. That's the greater majority of your community. That's insane, man. But see, like I said, family, in addition to the measures I mentioned there that could prevent this problem, I'll do you one better with the camera system. In every school, if it was up to me, every classroom, every room, and on the premises where there's students, we will have the cameras not only set up where the staff on the facility can view the cameras, it will be public access for everybody to review the cameras. All parents should look. Let me tell you something. If it was up to me and I was a mayor of a city or whatever, I'll be like, listen, man, all these cameras, the footage is going to be access to all parents. Like at the end of the day, they can review that footage on their laptop, phone, whatever. They should be able to see what their kids doing in school. Yeah, man, look, the kids will hate that, but boy, man, can you imagine? Hey, now you can see what your kid doing. You can see what the teacher's doing to them. I'm talking about with the audio and everything. Yeah, there's money to do that, okay? There's money enough to do that. They can't tell me that the money in the budget is not there to do what I'm just saying. Now, y'all tell me if that one could, because think about it. In every room, with exception of the bathroom, okay, and then there will be cameras in the hallway to see who's going in and out of these bathrooms, but with every room, exception of the bathroom, principal's office, all the classrooms, the gym, whatever, there's cameras where footage can be pulled up. You think that wouldn't deter them? Because think about it, where you gonna pull it off at on the school grounds? Huh? And then let's go here. Let's just say you call yourself you're gonna get slick and you're gonna go outside and have the underage student meet you in your car. Well, we got cameras outside to see if you go into your car. We're gonna see who's going in there with you. Oh yeah. See, I'll shut it down, man. I'm all about solving the problems for real, not this little bullshit where they pretend, oh, just don't know what to do. How can we solve the problem? All this technology we got today, you talking about you don't know how to solve that problem? Not to mention if you got resource officers on the grounds, huh? That's actually doing their job instead of trying to terrorize black children, huh? Start keep your eye on some of these goddamn pedophiles. Let it continue.
Whom she had authority over. Like this is just a huge problem. And again, we don't really get the opportunity to get a glimpse into this person's childhood, for example, or, her own teenage years, or what was her psychological background.
Look how they start reaching with, y'all see this sickening bullshit? See, this is what I can't stand about the white supremacists, man. None of that shit ain't got nothing to do with solving the problem. Let's start looking at her childhood and her own background. No, bitch. Okay, whatever. You can get to that later. Preventative measures start with what I was just speaking on, as far as clamping down on the problem. Then you can go and look into all the other bullshit. Huh? See, this is what they do anytime there's a problem in their community. They start making excuses and reaching and, oh, what about this? And oh my God, she just didn't like Mondays when she woke up and just, oh, her dog just died. And it's all kind of stupid shit, man. He ain't trying to solve no damn problems, man. They're jokes. This is why I said that we really need to just be away from them. Because like a lot of the bullshit, I'm telling y'all, we are not perfect. But I know 50% of our problem would be solved if we didn't have to live nowhere around these fucking people. It was really separate but equal resources where we could do what we need to do to take care of our communities, police our own, you know what I'm saying, and just let them do what they do on their side of the country. I guarantee you we'll be in a lot better condition today. Let it continue.
They probably don't even ask those questions. Maybe they're not allowed to ask those questions when you're hiring a teacher at any level, but especially in the younger, grade school, middle school, junior high kind of level. We don't know. We just know that they've got a certificate to teach in that state, and here you go. And that, is something that we should really be digging into as a society a little bit more. People often look, Anjanette, and I've seen this too. Sometimes people will make comments like, well, he was a teenage boy and he had sex. What's the big deal? It's a big deal when you're being psychologically manipulated by the person that teenager is having sex with, even if it were an age.
Notice she started talking about psychological manipulation. I would have started with sexually transmitted diseases. What about that, bitch? Pregnancy. What about that, huh? It's a big deal when you're being psychologically manipulated. No, let's start with the more serious consequences. Because like I said, the nightmare scenario. Imagine, you a young teenage boy. Oh, yeah, I'm seeing what my older teacher would have you. It's unprotected. And this motherfucker, let's just say she on a crash out mission. And her husband then gave her some sexually transmitted disease. And then she going to pass it on to somebody like you. I mean, they do silly shit like that. You better look on this Patreon and look up the broadcast in case you've never seen it. Gift givers and bug chasers, okay? Now, it's about the LGBTQ community, but there are straight people in the community that do it too. And see, I'll tell you something else. When the pandemic started, they was trying to tell their people to use the beer bug as a weapon against us. Oh, yes, I've covered this stuff over the years. You understand? My point that I'm making is there is no level of degeneracy that these people will not sink to. They really are not like us. It's not just something we say. These people are not like us at all. I am telling you, I don't put nothing past these motherfuckers, man. If they'll do this stuff to their own children, what make you think they care about us and ours, huh? Let it continue.
Appropriate sexual relationship, which this wasn't. The psychological manipulation is problematic.
Yeah, it definitely is. And this was not an age-appropriate relationship. Thank you so much, Jonna Spilbor. Appreciate.
Did you notice they never called her a pedophile at any point in time during this presentation? Did y'all notice that? Now, if y'all heard it, point it out to me because I didn't hear it. Family, did you notice they didn't, neither one of them, the white man that she had on there analyzes with her or the white woman, you notice that neither one of them called the bitch a pedophile. Nobody. Did y'all catch that? Talk about the difference in the way they cover things between us, huh?
Appreciate your time as always.
You always have the great cases, Anjanette, and the great analysis. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you. The state attorney for DuPage County issued a statement on social media. It says the allegations against Ms. Formella are extremely disturbing. It is alleged that she used her position of trust and authority as a tutor and a coach to sexually assault a minor student. The type of abuse and behavior alleged in this case will not be tolerated. I thank the Downers Grove Police Department for their efforts on this case and authorities at Downers Grove South High School for their cooperation in this matter. I also thank the DuPage County Children's Center as well as Assistant State's Attorney Jacqueline McAndrew for her work not only in this case, but for their continued efforts protecting our children. And the DuPage Herald quoted an email the principal of Downers Grove South High School sent to parents. It read, "We are devastated and our community is reeling. An adult has been charged with the most serious of violations and trust has been broken. Our team is here to support students who are impacted by this terrible news." Christina Formella is scheduled to be back in court next month. And that's it for this episode of Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll see you back here next time.
And there you have it, family. Boy, these degenerates, man, like I said, man, there's no level they won't sink to. I have never trusted children around them in any capacity, okay, because like I've been covering this stuff for years and I know how they are across the nation. Black parents, I hope you learned something from this broadcast tonight. You better sit down and talk to your kids. I'm going to reiterate this. Your children, if they're teenagers, you need to make sure. Don't rely on the teachers or whatever or assume they know. You need to make sure they understand how sexually transmitted diseases work because these nasty, rotten fire crotch alabastresses could have all types of disease and they pass this on to your kids. You know what I'm saying? You need to make sure that you have that conversation. They can explain things back to you. So you be like, okay, I know my child understands how these pathogens work. Okay. Because heaven forbid, I'm going to say it again. They get to mess around with one of these damn pedophile teachers and they give them something they can't get rid of for the rest of their life. Or they end up getting one of them pregnant, etc., or whatever, or getting pregnant by one of them if it's the other end, if it's at it. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to watch them too, boy. They be looking at little black girls and stuff like that. I mean, boy, we go there with it too. But yeah, like I said, brothers like me, when I come across this stuff, I'm going to cover it without any sugarcoating, even if I do it over here on Patreon, so that I can teach my people and warn my people. And you know what, brother Black Truth United? I'm going to actually put this in the Children of the Chalk playlist, okay? I'm going to definitely put this in Children of the Chalk playlist. I should have, included it in that. And we're going to get that series back popping, too. It's just been so much going on here lately. You know what I'm saying? But we going to get that back going because it's all over here. All you have to do is just type it in the search bar over here and you will find, the playlist. But I'm going to definitely add this to that playlist at the end of this tonight. So thank y'all to everybody that's a Patreon subscriber. I said we're going to be cooking over here on a couple more topics. And again, on my main channel, even though we had the X space discussing Black American self-defense, I'm going to be covering something else about a lot of these conservative Sambos and a whole bunch of other things that we see in our community that's going on here. If you over in the community group over in Black Ocean Zone 2 over here, take a look in the chat. It's something that all of you need to see, and I'm going to let y'all make up your own mind on that. But as far as me, that's not somebody I'm going to be associating with or promoting in any type of way because that's just disgusting, regarding the Carmelo Anthony case. So I'll let y'all go over there in the chat group and discover that for yourselves. It's the last post that I put up over there. And I encourage you to watch it all from front to finish so that you can make an informed decision on it. But as far as me, that person, I will no longer be dealing with in any way, shape, form, or fashion or promoting anything that they have. Okay. So with that said, salute to y'all. Black first. Remember, we're a great and mighty people. I will see you all in future content.